Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This will be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. So if you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I'll be happy to assist you with doing so. Keep in mind that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule, okay? So it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you're on Lady Noble's channel. I really want to see what's up. Okay, hope you all are doing wonderful. All are welcome on this channel, and all contributions are highly appreciated. There could be someone who is observing or monitoring you. And I'm not speaking of someone just being very opinionated. This could be something involving religion, cultural beliefs. Okay. This could be something involving spirituality. We know that spirituality and religion is two different things. Okay. But there's someone observing you who could be desiring to change something about you. Yes, the Nerve Collective, there's someone observing you, having conversations about you, and being very opinionated. They are desiring to change something about you or persuade you to either participate in a lifestyle that they have. Maybe they want to initiate you to some kind of social group that they're involved in. But they're being very opinionated and judgmental of something that you are involved in or something that you are presenting. This could be you just living your everyday life, minding your business. This person could envy how content and peaceful your aura, your energy is. You know, people wear a lot behind a smile. A person could hug you, smile at you, and still have a lot of hatred and iniquity in their hearts for you. But this is the energy of someone observing you and desiring to change or critique constantly something about you. This could be someone that you know. This could be a family member. This could be a friend. This could be someone that don't know you, but they know of you. Okay? They don't know you, but they know of you. Very judgmental energy, okay? There could be something in you, collective, that causes this person to reflect on their own personal life, especially if you're a person that comes off with a peaceful nature. This is somebody who could be miserable on the inside, very unhappy, okay? Even if they are someone who appears to have maybe a successful career, financial security. This could be someone who's aesthetically attractive, male or female. But that doesn't mean that a person still doesn't have insecurities. It doesn't mean that a person still doesn't have something that they're not sure of or they want to change about themselves. And oftentimes when people choose to ignore or not resolve the issues within themselves personally, they choose to project their ideas of how someone should live and move about onto other people outside and around them. And so instead of reflecting on themselves and working on themselves, they rather deflect by projecting their ideas onto other people. Okay. So we have the Three of Cups here. So this person could be gathering with other people, having lots of conversation. This could be someone at your workplace as well, just gossiping. Maybe you're someone who shows up to work, you punch in, you punch out, and that's that. You understand that work is work, home is home. You could be someone who don't believe in mixing the two. There are some people who find a work buddy, and then there are the other kind of person that actually believes in, this work is my livelihood and I'm not going to mix business with pleasure. They choose to have their friends outside of work. So you may be one of those people. You have family and friends that you socialize with, but you don't believe in intermingling your co-workers or your job with what's going on in your personal life. You don't believe in mixing the two. So yes, this person could just be gathering and gossiping. I'm just picking up envy and jealousy. This person could be the same age as you, younger than you, or older than you. Age does not matter. When it comes to a low vibrational, insecure person, this is someone who's just unhappy within themselves. And Spirit is saying they have a habit, not with just you, they have a habit of projecting their energy onto other people. And what they're projecting is the unresolved, the inconsistencies and insecurities that lie within themselves that they refuse to address, you know. hmm This could be someone who is married, you know. This could be someone who's married, has a fabulous career. They have all the materialism, but, you know, just to maintain the lifestyle, just to be who they are, that's all they have is the materialism. In their hearts, you know, there's someone who's really hurting on the inside, you know, which is sad, but this is their story. There's someone who's hurting on the inside, you know. Uh, yeah, yeah. Very stressed and overwhelmed kind of energy. hmm They could be part of some kind of mindset or brainwashing or some kind of lifestyle where they feel also this is coming up where they feel they just can't be themselves. Okay, they may have been conditioned and brainwashed to think that it's inappropriate to speak up or to speak their mind, to be themselves. So this is a kind of sweep it under the rug kind of energy. You know, if some kind of corruption was to take place in front of this person, this is the type of person who doesn't want to talk about it or address it. They feel like you should ignore it and move on. And so the Nine of Cups energy, this is how you're showing up, someone very secure and very happy. And you may not to say you're broke or you're poor, you may not have the same life or lifestyle things, material things that this person possess. And when this person sees you and how you show up, it shocks them. They want to they wonder, you know, where does the collective get their happiness from? Where does the collective get their joy from? You know, and it's from within. You know, true happiness and true love is from within. You know, no one is going to love you the right way until you learn to love yourself. You know, you show people how to treat you and respect you by how you carry yourself. True happiness is from within. You can't attach yourself to people, places, or things and expect them to hold your happiness in place for you for the rest of your life. It just doesn't make sense. And when you have that kind of mindset that you can only be happy if you have material things, or if you're part of the program, or you're following what's trendy, you know, those are things that are added on to us to experience while we're here on planet Earth. But those are not things to make you happy. You know, it's nice to have a large home or several vehicles and have options. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are also obligations. They are financial obligations, and there's a maintenance, and there's a requirement, and there's an upkeep. So I'm picking up this person has a lot of materialism going on for them. Also, they may have, this may be someone who even travels a lot. You know, they know a lot of, how can I say this? People in high places, not spiritually, but in the physical, you know. But the lifestyle that they live, it's a lot of repressed and suppressed energy. They're unable to be themselves. This could be some kind of religious belief that they're in. This could also be a social group that they're connected to. Or this could be how they were raised as a small child unto an adult. This could be brainwashing as well. This is how they feel, Spirit is saying. This may not even be anyone forcing them to think this way. This is just how they feel. And they feel this way because they want to keep a particular image. They want to present themselves as if, you know, everything is all together. And in reality, it really isn't. You know, they want to present themselves as if they're always building and working and, you know, everything is lollipops and gumdrops. And it really isn't. This is someone who doesn't understand that it's okay to have a good day and a bad day. You know, like I said, this is someone who, if they were at work and corruption was taking place, they would likely tell you, shh, don't say nothing. Or if something in the family was going on inappropriately, they would tell you, shh, don't say nothing. And if you chose to say something, this would be someone who would come up against you. This is the kind of energy this is. This is someone who be pump faking, you know, like every day of their life. And so they're trying to figure out, what is it about you? You're always showing up in this Nine of Cups energy, you know, happy, grateful, thankful I'm getting. Okay. I'm not saying that you're broke or anything. You're able to take care of yourself. You're independent. You have your own as well. But this person, they have not found true joy and happiness. And many will, and many won't. Because happiness is not in things. It comes from within. And many people refuse to do the work to find that true happiness. Okay. Not a happiness that wavers depending on who you're in a relationship with, not a happiness that wavers depending on what comes in the mail, or what kind of response you get, or how many for kicks and giggles and that kind of energy. Real, true, authentic happiness is within, and it is sustainable to the soul, and it shows, and your happiness is beaming out like a light. And not only with this person, collective, you could have this going on with a lot of people that you're not aware of. People could often gather and have these conversations about you. Every time I see the collective, they're smiling, they're happy, and they can be saying, well, I don't know why. They don't know why, because they don't know what true happiness is. This is someone who has materialism. And they're telling me to point that out so you will know who this is that is in your life or around you. If this isn't your story, someone around you is going through this. And so they're telling me to point out the materialism that this hater has, so you'll know who it is. Okay. And so, yes, with the Two of Cups here, you could be in a very loving relationship. Maybe you're not married, and maybe they are married. They could be having conversations about this. They could be trying to, make themselves come off as superior or better than. And this is just their idea of what they feel. Okay, this is what they feel, but you're happy. No, you're not married. You're dating. You're in a relationship, even if it's a live-in spouse. To each his own. People do what they want, but you're happy. Okay, but this person could be married, and collective, they're not happy. They're miserable, very unhappy. And they see you constantly, and they're wondering, here you go, you're happy, they can tell that you love yourself, that you're confident, that you're financially secure, because that's what the Nine of Cups is. And they know that you're in a loving relationship, and the energy is being reciprocated. There's reciprocity. This person could be in an unhealthy marriage, where they barely see their spouse, where there could be a lot of unloyalty going on, so where they feel they rank higher than you, which is foolish, because there's, no two humans are alike, and you can't compare, compete where you can't compare. So, which is silly, because we're all uniquely, individually, divinely created. But this person is trying to compare to something, and you're two totally different people. And it's meant that way. You have two different missions here on planet Earth, and two different lifestyles. And so spirit is also saying, because they're so focused, this person always has their neck turned, wondering what the next person is doing. They're unable to do the healing work. They're unable to see that, I know why the collective is always grateful and thankful. They're minding their own business. Maybe that's the secret. They're not projecting negative energy. They're not joining in gossip. Oh, and they're not plotting against others. So they're unable to come to this resolve, meaning solution, because their neck is always turned. They're misappropriating their own energy into the lives of other people. So, like I said, this could be someone that someone that know of you but don't know you personally, and they just have a lot of assumptions about you. You could be cordial with this person. Every time you see them, you say hi and bye, and that's it. But in hindsight, as you walk away, they've got their neck turned. Maybe mean mugging you, turning their lip up, or rolling their eyes, or whatever infantile stuff that foolish people do. Yes, because you come off like the magician, but spirit wants you to continue being yourself and keep working your magic, of living your life regardless. People will always have an opinion, and they're entitled to that. It's like an ashtray. We all have them. Okay. So let people have their opinion. Prove no one wrong. Do not become upset if you even hear about someone slandering your reputation. Let them have the gossip. Let them have they wonder what's going on, or whatever they want to accuse you of, and it's not true. Simply let it be, because there could be some rumors surfacing, maybe around the job about you, collective. Maybe it may come back to you through someone maybe that you know on the job or someone you have lunch with. That's for somebody in particular. And so it's all about you maintaining your balance, you know. And they could also wonder, people could be observing collective, whether you're a male or a female, how is it with the Two of Pentacles that you're managing to maintain your balance? You know, there are people who are under the assumption that, you know, it takes a village, or you must have a crowd or a group with you in order to survive or thrive. Well, I don't agree with that. I'm going to put my 2 cents in here. I believe life is about your perception personally, and we're all different and unique. It's all about how you see life, you know, and thoughts become things. So whatever is in your mental frame, and however you see life and see yourself, then that is what you are or will be. There are people who are able to be successful, whether they're married, single, have family, don't have family. There are people who have been homeless who became successful, adopted. There's many success stories of overcoming hardships, and people living different lifestyles and still becoming successful or happy, or and living a healthy, content life. Okay. Uh, so it's all about your perception, but they're wondering, what is it? It's the perception, evidently it's the mindset that the collective have, they're optimistic. They see the cup half full. What this person may deem as negative, you may use it as fuel, as motivation to keep going. You don't look at things like, whoa, it's me. You're grateful. You're like, I'm glad it's me. I know there's something for me in this process or in this life, and you're willing to stick around and figure out what it is without complaining or being ungrateful. Okay. So as you rest easy, many of ideas, you can be very creative, comes to you, possibly when you're sleeping, possibly while you're astral traveling. You're very creative. You could have a lot of ideas that crosses your mind, things you want to build, create. You could be a creator of some sort. Maybe you do something on social media. Maybe you do something with your hands. Okay. You could be someone who maybe makes, I'm hearing floral arrangements. Okay. But the Seven of Cups energy, everything in those Seven of Cups may not be the best idea, but there's more than one idea. So you're able to use your discernment. You're able to use your discernment. Everything in these cups aren't for his highest good, but there are some good things in there. So you're able to use your discernment. And because you're tapped in spiritually and you're optimistic, you end up on the right side, and you end up being the resilient one and making the right choices. Okay. And so this is natural. This is nothing to worry about. This is a spiritual notification. Okay. This is nothing to be hyper focused on. People are going to talk, let them talk. People are going to gossip, let them gossip. If they are planning or plotting against you, it will be revealed. As I just showed, you're very spiritually inclined and in tune. It will be revealed to you, and you will know what moves to make next. Okay. Because from the read, I mean, it's evident that you are wiser than this person. I just have to say it. You're wiser. They're too focused on you, and they could find their joy button if they just stop turning their neck and really just go look at the person in the mirror. That's where it all starts. It's not people, places, and things outside of you. It's when you start with the man in the mirror. Okay, so yes, King of Pentacles, prosperity, fulfillment. See, this is you. This is you being successful at any rate. Not just wealth, happiness, contentment. Collective, people envy contentment. People envy peace. People envy a spirit or a soul that comes across their path and is peaceful, or a kind spirit. That's why, you hear a lot of situations, or I'm pretty sure you have experienced being kind to people and they show that they don't appreciate it. That's because that chaos energy is foreign to them. They don't know how to accept a kind person, a person that is in good spirits, good energy. There are people who know how to respect it. And there are some people, when that light energy crosses them, they look at it as, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, but those are the ones who end up falling on their face. And later on, they feel bad and sad, and they be regretting how they treated you. They have to pay for that. And you don't have to lift a finger. It's divine order. It's the law. Yeah, those are ones who regret it later, mistreating a person who's kind or respectful, or plotting, planning against someone who's done nothing to them, but being angry just because someone is reflecting to you. And when I say reflecting, they're reminding you, collective, you remind this person or different people, because for some of you, it's not just this one person, it's different people, not all people who you interact with, but different people whose path you have crossed, and you just rub them some kind of way. And you may have picked up on this to the point where you may have been like, look, I don't know what it is, but I know so and so has a problem with me. Let's just say what it is. People know, and I'm pretty sure when a person, likes them or don't like them, male or female. And I'm not talking about romantically. You can tell whether a person is for you or isn't. You can tell whether they resonate with your spirit or not. It's not about being negative or assuming people hate you. It's really common sense, and it's just all in the energy. Sometimes it's on people's face. It's how they talk, how they respond. You can tell. And these are the same kind of people, like I'm speaking of. They'll have all this hatred for you, but these people will even invite you to hang out with them. Like, weird. But these are the same people who will invite you to hang out with them. But that's to monitor you. That's to mirror you. They want to like study you. They have a fixation on you. They want to try to get in the mix, get as close as they can to you. So you could be someone who you don't believe in letting everyone in your world, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to have boundaries, because everyone doesn't have good intentions. And it's not about being paranoid. It's just the truth in the world we live in. And if you live your life thinking that every person that crossed your path has your highest regard at heart, then you're going to be disappointed. I'm not going to say how, but there could be some disappointing moments. Everyone is not bad, and no one is perfect either. But you have to be mindful that just because a person crosses your path or invites you somewhere or offers you something doesn't mean they have your highest regard at heart. People have all kind of intentions. I mentioned earlier, this person may be connected to a group of people, a social group, an organization. They could be also targeting you. I don't know. Initiation energy has been coming up for a couple of days here, and when that happens, there's different kinds of approaches happen. Sometimes people will test you by offering you things, in different kind of ways. But either way, that's been coming up a lot. So maybe someone is trying to initiate you into some kind of organization. So put that where it resonates. That's not for everybody, but put that where it resonates. Okay. And so we have the Ace of Wands, so there is, a back and forth, a tug of war, with this person mentally, not with you. This is in their head. There's a tug of war with how they see themselves versus how they see people. And so this is also someone who is confused. They feel like everyone is supposed to imitate and duplicate each other, and we're not put here for that. Everyone is not going to go to college, graduate, become a doctor, have a house with a picket fence. Someone might buy a house with no fence at all. Someone might want to just be a teacher. Somebody might just want to be a dentist. We are not put here to imitate and duplicate each other. So this person's mental faculties, because they're always looking behind them instead of looking at the person in the mirror, they're very confused. This person is very confused. So there's a tug of war, on their higher self as well as their shadow side. Even though they may have a lot of material things, like I said, going on for them, but the inside, they're mentally and spiritually disheveled, very unhappy. And so there's a tug of war. They don't know which way to go, whether they want to stay on the shadow side in this darkness with resentment and envy for people that they see that just may be happy. I mean, that's very diabolical when you envy someone's happiness, but it happens, or you envy someone's contentment. That's real deep, So they can either stay in their shadow side and stay angry, or they can move forward and get the help that they need and make choices in their life that'll make them happy personally. Okay. Because we all are different for a reason. We have different missions here for a reason, but this person is at a tug of war when it comes to what they desire, and what they're passionate about. And you, on the other hand, collective, you're very focused. And see, this igs them. It igs them. Whatever that means. Spirit is saying it igs them. It like gets on their nerve. People can see your passion, passionate about life. You don't even have to say it. It's in your walk. It's in your talk. It's in how you communicate with people in general. People see your strength. They know that you're spiritually supported and you're protected as well. And so we have the Three of Swords. As this person has a broken heart. This has a broken heart. And they have a broken heart. I said this has here. They have a broken heart. And there's a lot that this person wants to say. And they could be, but it's up to them to get the help, get the counseling. They could really want to talk to somebody, like open up and have a conversation with someone. Like for real, for real. This person is afraid, as you see. Her hands are covering up of seeing the truth, of stepping into the light. This person is afraid. This could be maybe upbringing, like I said, brainwashing, something religious, something cultural, okay? Maybe they feel or they were told, I don't know, not to seek help. But yeah, I'm picking up this person could want to like talk to somebody and like release, all that they've been holding. They want to like unpack somewhere, okay? But that's up to them to get that help in divine timing, okay? Yeah. Because you are someone who has persevered through a lot with the Nine of Wands. That's perseverance. You've been through a lot, but you didn't allow it to break you. Some people allow what they go through to sabotage them, but you did not. You've came out stronger than you were in the past. You've overcome your shadow side. You've done the healing work. And people know this about you in general, Spirit is saying. People know this about you. This could be why there's so much gossip and talk. But gossip is a part of Life Collective, and I say let it be. Don't ever defend no gossip. You'll be there talking forever. And we can't control what nobody think about us, okay? What they think about you, look, whatever. Whatever. Life goes on, okay? This person feels like they have been under an illusion. And they know they're under an illusion. And so the more that they see people like you, collective, people who are truly happy and like truly, it's rare. Happiness is a rare thing. I'm not talking about, going on vacation and taking a picture or buying an expensive person taking it or look at my nails, my car. No, 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 no. I'm talking about true, authentic, wholehearted happiness. This person knows with the Seven of Swords, but they don't speak on it. It's something about this person feeling like they can't speak. So I don't know. Maybe they're in an unhealthy relationship. Hopefully not, even though they're a hater. We don't want to see nobody. I don't promote violence. We don't want to see nobody getting hurt. But there's something about they feel like they can't speak. Like someone's told them, don't say nothing or don't speak on this, don't speak on that. But this person, the more they see you, the more they realize they're living an illusion, yeah. A good example, this could be someone who possibly married someone that they weren't in love with or never cared about, but maybe they went through with the wedding because they were pressured to do it. Maybe they were pressured to marry this person. Maybe for many reasons. People have different lifestyles and different beliefs. And they've been holding this for so long, and maybe the relationship isn't the healthiest. Maybe they're being mistreated. They could be being verbally abused, physically abused. Anything could be going on with this person because I'm picking up they have so much they want to say about themselves, but they feel like they can't say nothing at all. And it's connected to an image, a facade, got to make sure everything looks good kind of energy. As I was speaking of earlier, sweeping under the rug, shh, don't say nothing about that. If something wrong is going on, shh, let's pretend everything is okay. This is the kind of energy that this is. And so the more they run across people like you, they become even more angry, with the people who they see that proves this and also with themselves. Okay. So basically this person is living a life that they want to break free from. That's what this is. They want to break free. I say, if you're watching, next time you leave out the door, don't come back. If you really want to get out, okay? And I don't care if it's taking out the trash, don't come back. Leave with what's on your back and be gone. Save yourself like that. Yeah, yeah, but that's what I'm picking up here. This person is in a relationship and where they're taught they can't speak, they can't say nothing, or it's disrespectful, or maybe someone's telling them that they're going to be loved less by God. Someone has brainwashed this person, giving them some kind of mental concept that's not true, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, they become angry with people who they see who are happy living their life. They feel like they're stuck. They feel like they're in a situation they can't get out of, and they're watching other people be free and watching other people move around and be happy. And they're turning their leg like, I want to go too, kind of energy. Okay. With the star card, I gotta cover this up again. Ugh. With the star card here, because they nude here, with the star card, they're watching you shine your MVP. They're watching you shine bright like the star that you are and live your best life, you and other people. They're saying this, the spirit is saying this is you and anyone who is free and happy and vibrant, showing up that 9 of Cups energy, that you're secure within yourself, not just financially, but you're secure within yourself. And that's big, you're confident. You are well balanced. Whomever you are, collective, you're very well balanced. You have the harmony with the 10 of Pentacles, and great fortune, it constantly, is being orchestrated to arrive in your life. Great fortune. So yeah. I don't know. You see this person next time, ask them blink two. They in danger. Blink twice. I said blink two, blink twice. You're in danger. Something like that. This person is in a situation. I'm picking up. They in a situation. Yeah. But I see you staying determined. Male or female, gender is fluid in tarot. You're staying very determined and optimistic, and spirit wants you to continue to do so. Do not let the ways of the world, change who you are. You know, keep shining bright. Keep being you. You know who to trust in. You know who to go into counsel with. You know how to go into solitude, with yourself and have that me time, which is very important. That alone time is so important. So important. So important. And you're being supported, from the other side. Your ancestors are supporting you. You're not here alone in this. They're supporting you. And maybe they've experienced these things before they transition, and they're telling you to keep being you. Don't change who you are. Because this kind of energy, real talk, collective, you're going to run across it. You can notice it, but keep on moving. They're like leaves in the wind, because it's up to this person to find healing or find help. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be someone who spends your life like this hater here and be looking in a photo album, looking back, wondering, wishing, shoulda, woulda, coulda theory. No one wants to perish from planet Earth or look back later on in life with the shoulda, woulda, coulda theory. I wonder where my life would have been if had I given myself a chance or I've believed in myself a little bit more. This person doesn't understand that no matter how rocky or difficult of situations may arrive in your life, that the goal is to not throw in the towel. You don't have to compromise yourself to a point where you're unhappy, especially to a point where you can't speak. It keep coming up. This person wants to say something, not to you, but they want to let out, like they want to have a verbal release of what they're going through personally in their life. So they're busy, maybe gossiping and projecting towards you, but on the inside, this person has so much mess going on, they want to have a release. I mean, they need a counseling session or two. But people will try to target you, but you know, it's an illusion. You know, it doesn't matter, collective, what anyone thinks of you. You know, no one can take away your power. What is meant for you is meant for you. You know, she is being walked to take her place. So your ancestors are letting you know for you to continue to be who you are. Don't change who you are. As I said, this kind of energy, you'll always run into that. Use it as fuel to stay inspired and keep going. It is up to us individually to find our own purpose in our own way. And a lot of times it is up to us to also get out the way so people can learn and grow. Okay, so it is your turn. You know, whatever you're doing, you're in your purpose. You know, I'm not picking up that you're doing anything wrong, that you're trying to sabotage anyone, but you're being supported by passed on loved ones. Someone's ancestors here in the read want you to know that you're being supported. So stay confident. Maybe you are building or creating something or doing something spontaneous or something that's new to you, or you know, something no one else has ever done in your family. They want you to know that you are being supported. That's for someone. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. You don't have to follow the crowd. Okay? You don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Life would not be what it is if we were meant here to really duplicate each other and everyone was supposed to follow and do the same thing. You know, it's just like having a belief system that one person in the world could change every. Okay, I ain't gonna say that. Just things that make you go, So many things that make you say, So many things. Yeah. Yeah, but keep going and transforming to the beauty, and ascending to the beautiful spiritual and human being that you are, collective. Okay? Because what is for you can't be taken. What is written in the stars can't be taken. A person could, want to see you fail, but they have no power or control over that unless you give your power away. So, haters are necessary. The naysayers are necessary. So you may also be aware that this person is doing this. Someone may be watching, you may be aware. You could be empathic, very tapped into your gifts. You could be aware that this is going on. You can be saying, oh, I already knew that. And I know exactly who that is. They'll be all right. Yeah. So, to never surrender your power, don't feed into the goofies and don't feed the fears. Later.